Welcome to Besiege Bots, the real home of robotic combat in Besiege. In this episode, we begin the lightweight bracket round of 16 and find our first 4 quarterfinalists. We kick things off with a battle between two very skilled teams with dangerous bots, and end things with a main event between two of the most successful teams in Besiege Bots history. Lwerk definitely redeemed itself in the redemption round, where it pitted eyes on me in less than a minute, showing it deserves to be in the round of 16 and contending for the title. In this matchup, Lwerk will look to toss around another horizontal spinner in Pyre. Pyre handily won its rumble, sending Psyduck flying out of the arena and proceeded to absolutely batter Batterbox before eventually sending it to the pit. In this fight, they look to continue their dominance and show why they have the most wins on the leaderboards. And we're underway with the first fight of episode 9 here, kicking off the round of 16. We have two good teams, Team Wasted Potential, a perennial contender for the Most Destructive award, and Team Pilot Light, actually the second highest team on the ranked leaderboard, but just haven't really been able to translate that into tournament success so far. Admittedly, they've only been in, I believe, two tournaments, but they just haven't really found that level of success. But Pyre has the most wins in lightweights on ranked, so we'll see if they can translate that success into a tournament win. They're getting some really good hits early on Lwerk. Lwerk's gotten a few good hits to pop Pyre up. Pyre's pretty light for a shell spinner, so it does get thrown around kind of easily. Oh, Lwerk's got them close to the pit here. Pyre does a good job getting out. Oh, some shoddy camera work there, but that's okay. So far, Pyre... Oh, and they bounce into the pit. That's really unfortunate for Team Pilot Light. That means Lwerk will be moving on to the quarterfinals, while Pyre is eliminated from Spring Bash Cup. Avalanche spent a large portion of its rumble breakdancing. It still succeeded in decapitating Nightlight 2 and tearing a quarter off of Calypso. In this matchup, they look to do more of the same against a dangerous hammer in Brahmanda Astra. Brahmanda Astra had a chaotic rumble, flying everywhere when it fired its hammer. It successfully beat Slippery Serpent by removing its tracks and tossed Flat Screen out of the arena. In spite of a decent performance in the Rumble, Style and Substance Robotics want to show the kind of destruction their hammer is really capable of in this fight. Here we kick off fight number 2 for episode 9. We got two pretty solid teams. 999 Robotics have had some good finishes in recent times. Wow, a huge hit early from Brahmanda Astra. That's really the first proper hit it's landed in this entire tournament. It rips an entire, quarter off of Avalanche. Took off all of the drive wheels on that right side as well. That was one hammer hit. That is showing the power that didn't really get shown in its rumble as well as it would have liked. As I was saying, 999 Robotics have had some good results. They finished runner-up in Super Heavyweight Slaughter, finished top 3 in SBC 2019. Brahmanda Astra gets Avalanche over near the pit. Oh, but the hammer tip breaks off on that swing. They swung down into the spinner of Avalanche. And due to the timing, Avalanche's spinner broke the hammer tip off. Brahmanda having some trouble self-riding. It's back over now. They're probably just going to look to use the wedge. They're still pretty ahead on damage, I would say. Since that hammer is still usable. Oh, but they lose a wheel there. That's going to make driving this bot really hard. It doesn't crab walk particularly well. Makes it harder to get the wedge in play. Oh, and that was just an odd way of firing the hammer. Maybe they were being counted out and they wanted to try and do something. They end up breaking the front. It actually seems to be crab walking a little smoother now, interestingly, but it's not going to deflect the hits as well. This is unfortunate. After a great start for Style and Substance Robotics, they haven't had amazing results. I don't think they've ever gotten further than the round of 16. And they were really happy with Brahmanda Astra coming into this tournament with how hard it hits. So it's kind of unfortunate to lose the hammer after what was a tremendous first hit. Looks like the hammer motor got broken on one side as well there. Yeah, the hammer motor's broken on the right side. It can still flip around itself, right? It's having some trouble, but it gets back over. It's gotta crab walk its way over. It's not being counted out, which is good. But unfortunately, that big damage score they started out this fight with has quickly evaporated. And largely of their own accord, Avalanche did snipe the motor and the wheel, and broke the hammer tip off, but the actual breaking in half of the front was done by Brahmanda Astra. It's still going to count against it on damage. We'll see. With Avalanche being so compromised as it is, it could potentially throw itself into the pit if the driver isn't careful. But it looks like they're being pretty controlled, taking it slower than they normally would in order to get back into this one. Brahmanda's still trying to throw that little piece of the hammer that's left, but it's just not really long enough to reach Avalanche. This is a very tough fight. Currently I would say it's probably going to go to Avalanche, but neither bot has had a ton of controller aggression because they're both just super compromised due to the damage. At least Avalanche's spin is still working, so their damage score is probably going to be pretty high. I would say they're more likely to... Oh, and then Brahmanda splits in half. And that's the end of the fight, so they make it to a decision, but it's pretty clear in favor of Avalanche on aggression, control, and damage. Brahmanda got style, but ultimately it's not going to be enough. Avalanche moves on to the quarterfinals, and Brahmanda Astra is eliminated from Spring Bash Cup. Team Locrian easily controlled the match against Panman to make its way to the round of 16. Another control bot stands in Team Locrian's way of having another lightweight championship win under their belt. Mint Chocolate will look to replicate its performance against Panman in this fight. Rocket Jumper launched its way to victory as it successfully detreaded Slippery Serpent in the redemption round. In its way stands a championship winning team. Rocket Jumper will attempt to blast its way through to contention in this fight. Fight 3 underway now, and we have, in a heavy departure from the last fight where we had two extremely powerful damage type bots, we have two pretty interesting control bots. Mint Chocolate is just a pure wedge. Rocket Jumper actually gets under there. They have a good chance to flip. They waited a little too long and almost ended up in the pit themselves. Mint Chocolate back in control now. You have the pure wedge style of Mint Chocolate, which was able to out-wedge Panman in its last fight pretty heavily. And it looks like it has the better wedge again against Rocket Jumper here. Rocket Jumper jumping up, trying to... I'm not sure what they're trying to do there. Maybe, like, catch that self-riding pneumatic and try and flip Mint Chocolate by hitting into it. Or maybe just trying to score style points, who knows. It's going to be hard for them to get under. They have to really find a way to the side of Mint Chocolate. Or maybe they're trying to jump over Mint Chocolate and get behind. As a pneumatic breaks, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's from Rocket Jumper's flipper. I wasn't sure if it was Rocket Jumper's flipper or the self-right pneumatic on Mint Chocolate breaking when Rocket Jumper landed on it, but it seems it was Rocket Jumper's flipping pneumatic. Which is going to mean it has less power. It still has enough power to get Mint Chocolate in the pit if it can get under it in a good position. Mint Chocolate pushes Rocket Jumper towards the pit. Going to make it hard for them to self-right. Try and force them to do it into the pit. Rocket Jumper get out for now, but they're just being heavily controlled here. This is really what Mint Chocolate's got to do. It's not the most exciting bot, but the reason Mint Chocolate was entered by Team Locrian is because they just really like this bot. It's been one of their original bots, I think, and they've worked really hard on getting it up to date for this tournament. And they chose not to re-enter their championship winning bot, which was Black Bullet, which was actually a prop rammer, so that they could enter this bot. Which is commendable of them, that they're trying to win with a bot that they enjoy more than just one that's extremely good. And they're doing a really good job of just controlling Rocket Jumper. Other than that one flip right near the start, Rocket Jumper has had just no control in this fight. Mint Chocolate is constantly pressuring them and pushing them around the box. This is very decisive so far, barring a pit or something, or at least a very close pit. It's going to be really hard for Rocket Jumper to win this. I'm not sure why Mint Chocolate aren't using the self-right pneumatic to try and flip Rocket Jumper when they get all the way under them like that. Maybe they just don't want to risk breaking it in case they get flipped over, but I feel like they could have gone for it there. It's just a very safe, very controlled fight from Mint Chocolate and Team Locrian. They really want to be able to win with this bot, and right now they're very much on track to at least make the quarterfinals and possibly go further. They're just all over Rocket Jumper. It hasn't had really any time to breathe. It's jumping into the air a lot, but it's not actually doing anything when it does that. It's still just, yeah, Rocket Jumper goes up, comes down, goes up, and that's time. I think that's a pretty clear decision to Mint Chocolate. 14-1 control, probably lost that one control point because of the one flip early on. 29-16. Mint Chocolate moves on to the quarterfinals, still in with a chance of winning, and Rocket Jumper is eliminated from Spring Bash Cup. Hockey Puck of Death managed to beat Mr. Deeds in a close decision wherein both bots suffered some minor damage. In this contest, the Institution of Insanity looked to show the kind of damage they can do against another strong team in Team Archaon. Morgan made it through their rumble by dismantling both of their opponents. After Mint Chocolate was bounced into the pit, they proceeded to dominate Eyes on Me and hoped to do the same to Hockey Puck of Death. Team Archaon looked to further cement their legacy by making it to yet another quarterfinals over a strong team in the Institution of Insanity. Here we go with the main event for episode 9. We have the two best teams in terms of tournament results in Besiege bots. Team Archaon won 3 tournaments. Institution of Insanity have won 2, and they lose a chunk out of the shell early on here. Oh, and they get pounded off the wall and actually get a good hit on Morgan on the ricochet. I don't think the Hockey Puck is going to spin down at all in this fight. They're just going to ricochet off walls and try and take Morgan out by the force of the ricochet. Keep ricocheting. They're getting thrown around the arena. It's fun to watch, but they're having some drive trouble. They have lost some, I think, a downforce flying block, possibly a segment of the shell, actually. And also they lost some wheels, possibly 1 or 2 wheel stacks. I'm not certain at the moment. They've definitely lost a wheel stack. This is just Morgan lining up position. They're both kind of circling around each other. Hockey Puck's very hard to drive when it's lost some wheels, so Morgan should be the one more in control. Big hit there sends Hockey Puck ricocheting. Wow, this is... the puck is just pinging off every wall it hits. That is really cool to watch. It's like those old screensavers where the line would kind of bounce around off the corners and you'd see it. But now there's a bot in the middle smashing it back into the walls. It's really cool. Almost like a tennis rally, maybe? Maybe squash is more apt. Is squash the one where they hit it against the wall? I think so. Possibly? Maybe. I can't remember. Indoor tennis, the one where you smack it against the wall. So far, there's been some big hits. Hockey Puck has taken a lot of damage, and Morgan really hasn't taken any. I think the worst that's happened to Morgan is it lost, like, a brace. I think it lost, like, a directional brace or something. Ooh, and another big crunching hit ripped some parts out of Hockey Puck. It's hard to tell what everything is on the ground, but I think Hockey Puck is down to 1 wheel stack, maybe? Which means it's very hard to drive right now, but they're still kind of the ones chasing Morgan down, so they're kind of being the more aggressive of the two. Morgan's pretty slow, so it can be a bit hard to score aggression. But I'd say so far, Team Archaon obviously really ahead on damage and control, but maybe like a little behind on aggression, definitely behind on style. Because the Hockey Puck has not stopped spinning, no matter how many times it hits the wall. Which might not be the smartest decision, but I don't think the Institution of Insanity care at this point. They're gonna KO Morgan or die trying, it looks like. Getting smacked into the wall again. And again. They're not ricocheting off the wall as hard, so I wonder if maybe something's going on. Oh, they go up near the pit, but they don't go in. That was close. Almost a pit for Morgan. It'd be the second shell spinner we've seen pitted today, but Hockey Puck stays in it. Oh, I think they... Oh, they just lost another wheel stack. Is that all of them gone? I'm not sure. They're just kind of bouncing around the arena. They seem to be going at Morgan, so I'm not sure if they're controlling that, or it's just happens to be bouncing like that. That was an incredible series of ping-pongs off the wall there. That's time, and it's a pretty clear decision to Morgan. Won heavily on control and damage, lost a little on aggression, and lost heavily on style. And so Morgan moves on to the quarterfinals with a commanding judge's decision, while the Hockey Puck of Death is eliminated from Spring Bash Cup. That's it for this episode. Our 4 bots heading into the quarterfinals are Lwerk, Avalanche, Mint Chocolate, and Morgan. Sadly, we also have to say goodbye to Pyre, Brahmanda Astra, Rocket Jumper, and Hockey Puck of Death. In the next episode, we will complete the lightweight bracket round of 16. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. If you're interested in joining our community, follow the Discord link in the description. From everyone in the Besiege Bots Discord, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.